Hello once again, and thank you for joining me on the Waters and Stanton video channel. This really is an update on the Yaesu FTX-1 transceiver. Just to remind you, there are two versions: the FTX-1F, which stands for Field, which is the 10-watt QRP transceiver, basically the head unit with a battery in the back. And there's the FTX-1 Optima, which is basically the same transceiver, but included in that is a 100-watt PA amplifier. 100 watts HF to 50 megahertz, and then 50 watts from 4 meters up to 77. And yes, it does cover 4 meters. What I try to do is answer some of the questions that have been raised recently from people that watch this video channel, the people that have phoned into us at Waters and Stanton. So I'll try and answer the questions. Now, first of all, the availability. Well, I spoke to Yaesu a couple of days ago, and they haven't shipped yet, but they are shipping this month. Unless a catastrophe happens, they will be shipping the UK supplies this month, but they haven't committed themselves to how much or how many units they're going to ship. Now, bear in mind that we have got the Dayton Hamvention this coming weekend, so whether they will give priority and whether that will affect supplies to the UK, I just don't know. I would say almost certainly that there's going to be a bit of a shortage initially, because there's been a tremendous amount of interest. So, first of all, a number of people have said that there's no facility for an external screen, in other words, a large screen. Well, that's true, but bear in mind this really was primarily designed as a portable unit, and do you actually want an external screen because you've got to power that external screen? Yes, I know that there's also a base unit there, the Optima 100-watt amplifier, but there is no facility for an external screen. Now, I suspect that most people will buy this transceiver, whichever model they choose, because of its portability, its compact size. By the way, you can get a side handle as well, carrying handle for it. I've got an eye problem, as some of you may know, but the way round it really is to use something like a smartphone with a built-in magnifier, or you can get an app for magnifying. Use your smartphone to magnify the screen, or if you've got an iPad or something like that, even better, you can use that, because generally speaking, you don't want the large screen all the time. You just want to check one or two things. So if that worries you, and if you're happy with using a smartphone or something like an iPad or whatever, that solves the problem. Now, the 100-watt amplifier, there was a question over whether it's got a built-in antenna tuner or not. Yes, it has. The 100-watt unit has got a built-in antenna tuner that they say will match up to 3:1. I suspect, being Yaesu, that's a bit pessimistic. It'll probably handle a bit more than that. But anyway, there is a built-in antenna tuner or an antenna matching unit in the 100-watt amplifier. As there is a speaker, they say there's a powerful speaker in the top of the amplifier casing. So when you get if you get the Optima, then you will have a powerful amplifier, to quote Yaesu's words, and you will have a built-in antenna matching unit. Now, on the subject of speakers, the basic head unit, which basically is the FTX-1F Field transceiver, that has got two speakers built into it. They are actually in the bottom of the moulding. There are two speakers in the bottom of the moulding, which they say are powerful, and so you don't have any problems if you're just going to go for the FTX-1F Field. It has built-in speakers. Now, on the paperwork that Yaesu have published, the brochure and the user manual, which you can download if you just type in Yaesu FTX-1 user manual, it'll come up. There's surprisingly no list of accessories. So in summary, basically what you get, if you get the FTX-1F, which is the Field, you get the head unit and you get the battery, which is, I think it's 6.4 amp hours. It's quite a large battery. That's going to last for a long time, 6,400 milliamp hours. So you get that, and also you get a DC lead. It's a 2-pin DC lead. I wonder what the lead comprises, whether on the end it's just bare wire or whether it's got a cigar plug or not, I don't know, but anyway, you get the, and also of course you get the microphone. I think it's called the FT or the SM75, the standard microphone. When you purchase, or if you purchase the Optima, you still get the battery. You still get the battery and the DC lead to power the head unit, and also you get the heavy-duty 13.8 volts supply to supply the amplifier as well. There's no real indication in the user manual as to how the 100-watt amplifier connects to the head unit. I assume that you remove the battery, and I assume it plugs in to the back of the head unit. The photo certainly of the finished connected item certainly suggests that, but in the user manual it doesn't actually show how you connect the 100-watt amplifier to the head unit, but I guess it plugs in. One or two people have said, well, what about a remote unit, or a remote lead rather, so you can remotely have the head unit remote from the amplifier. Again, there is no indication yet that there is such an item that's available, but who knows, time will tell. But it's not listed, as far as I can see anyway, on the standard list of accessories. Interestingly, what is available as an option is a sort of front head guard unit, I think they call it. Basically, it's a unit that fits on the front, and it's got these like sort of handles that protrude, so that you could, if you put the unit on its face, and the face down with the battery up, then the controls are protected. I guess they've anticipated that a lot of people will want that, so perhaps some third-party people who are going to produce one, they may be a bit disappointed. But there is, I think it's called an SG1 guard unit. It's shown anyway in the brochure. Now let's talk about the antenna tuning units, or the antenna matching units. There are two units, and they are basically quite different. This is quite apart from the antenna matching unit that's built into the 100-watt amplifier. The actual head unit itself doesn't have an antenna matching unit built in, but you can purchase one of two items. There's something called an FC80, which comes with a spacing unit. Basically, the FC80 can be attached, as far as I understand it anyway, behind the battery. So you've got the head unit, you've got the battery plugged in at the back of the unit, and beyond that you've got the FC80 antenna tuning unit, or antenna matching unit. And that basically is designed for coax cable. In other words, it's designed for 50 ohm connections, coax feed to your transceiver. Now, if you use a resonant whip, or you use a resonant antenna when you're out portable, then really and truly you don't need a matching unit. Generally speaking, the head unit would be quite happy with VSWRs up to about 2:1. If you want to move around the band a bit, near the band edges and the SW rises, then the FC80 will seem to be the way to go. That will enable you to operate with a modest VSWR, and bear in mind we're talking about 10-watt rating, so these matching units that I'm talking about are rated at 10 watts, designed to use with the FTX-1F. There's also an FC90. Now the FC90 is actually designed as a remote antenna tuner, and that's more designed for end-fed wires. You can use coax with it, or you can use an end-fed wire with it, and it's, so far as I can see, it's got a short control lead that goes from the back of the FTX-1F to the FC90 antenna tuning unit. I don't know, it's probably about 5 meters long, they don't say, but about 5 meters long, I guess. And that is ideal if you want to be out in the field operating with an end-fed wire with your FTX-1F. So two antenna tuners to choose from, the FC80 and the FC90. So I hope that makes that clear. Now, if you're a CW operator, it seems to be well catered for CW wise, and there's also the facilities for memory text. You can type in some memory text and memory phrases for CW operation, and that will enable you to sort of say QTH or all the sort of things that are normally repeatable. And it's also got a contest feature as well, so it's got a run-in number for contest use. For speech, for SSB, FM, etc., then you can use an SD card, and on that SD card you can not only record phrases, but you can also record incoming audio. So that's quite an attractive feature. So the SD card there is useful. And memory-wise, by the way, you can actually tag memories with up to 12 characters. I can't remember how many memories are on the unit now, but the memory facility is quite comprehensive, and you can put 12 alphanumeric characters to tag each memory. Another feature which I'm not quite certain of how it works, but basically, if you've got the Optima connected, in other words, you've got the Optima version or you've got the amplifier plugged into the head unit, then if you reduce your power from 100 watts to say 50 watts, then I can understand how that would work. But I wonder, when you reduce your power to 10 watts, whether that bypasses the amplifier. And the reason I say that is because when you are running low power with a 100 watt amplifier, it becomes fairly inefficient as regards DC, because it may well draw a significantly high current even though you're only running say 20 or 25 watts. So if you reduce your power down to 10 watts, if that amplifier is still running, it could draw quite a lot of DC current. So I just wonder, as soon as you reduce your power level to 10 watts, whether the main amplifier is switched off and it simply relies on the amplifier built into the head unit. I suspect that's the way it goes. That's the way Aircraft used to use means of power control on their base station transceivers. When you got down to 10 watts or below, it switched off the main amplifier and it just effectively had the driver. So I don't know how Yaesu have configured it, but I suspect that when you reduce your power to 10 watts, if you've got the Optima running, it may well then just rely on the power from the head unit, which will make the whole thing more efficient as regards the power consumption. Now, it's going to be interesting to see how people actually purchase these radios. If you're a QRP enthusiast, quite clearly you're not going to purchase the Optima. But if you are one of those that does a bit of QRP and then a bit of high power work, then obviously the Optima is the better. If you are a guy that operates primarily from resonant antennas, then the Optima is going to give you all you need, and you just unplug the amplifier and you've still got your QRP head unit, and you don't need an antenna matching unit because you're using resonant antennas. I don't know, it'd be interesting to see how it goes. But it's got a lot of interest, this radio. In fact, I suspect it's one of the most groundbreaking transceivers that's been released in a year or so. I certainly think, as I said before, I think it's going to be the radio this year. Now, I know that a lot of people will say, okay, well, this and it doesn't do this and doesn't do that. You know, there's always the case that it doesn't do what you want it to do. You've got two choices then. You just accept that it doesn't do those things, or you say, well, okay, because it doesn't do this and doesn't do that, I'm not going to buy it. Well, that's fair enough. But I think that whichever way you look at it, this radio is a real groundbreaking radio that's going to get a lot of attention in 2025. And there's going to be a lot of orders flying around, I think, as soon as the first lot land. I hope that Yaesu get a good supply. We've put in a massive order for them, and as we're the largest UK dealer that purchases from Yaesu UK, then hopefully we'll get a good supply. I don't know. Best to speak to our guys in the office. They all have the latest information. But if you want one of these transceivers, then it's time to make up your mind, and hopefully we can supply you. Will it replace my Icon IC705? Well, no, me. I'll probably keep both, but I've got to get one first of all. In the meantime, thank you for watching this video. It's really just a video to update you, because I've got a whole load of questions that have been given to me to answer, and I've tried to answer them as best I can. And I hope that in the main it's answered the questions you may have been thinking about. asking. Don't forget, you can download the user manual. You can also download the brochure. I think the brochure may well be on our website now, I'm not sure. But anyway, you can download the brochure and also the full user manual. The user manual doesn't actually answer all the questions. For example, it doesn't, surprisingly, it doesn't actually say what accessories are supplied with it. I had to go onto the American site to find out what the accessories that are supplied with the units were. But anyway, I think I've answered that as best I can. As usual, of course, I can't say that everything I've given is absolutely true, except that I've taken all the information from the published data by Yaesu, and if that's right, then probably what I've said is also right. Thanks for supporting this channel, much appreciated. Don't forget to press the subscribe button. In the meantime, you enjoy your ham radio, you take care, and look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye for now.